4 teams, one step away from a European final. It's getting serious in the Challenge Cup. My name's Mark. Let's talk rugby. Challenge Cup semi-final. So first thing, I've got the Leinster jersey on because I literally just finished recording the Champions Cup semi-final preview, and also, Edinburgh are the team that, the only team I have a jersey for in this competition, left in the competition, and I'm saving that jersey to cover their game. So, if I wore it today, it'd have to go in the wash, whereas Leinster, I've got the blue jersey as well, so I'm going to use that at the weekend. So, this one, it's, semi-final. It's a big European semi-final for, a lot of these teams as well. Edinburgh, a big chance for them to prove that they're not the flaky team that we all think they are. Bath, a chance potentially, to do a double, lift this trophy and lift the Premiership, top of the Premiership at the moment. And then, Lyon, past masters at this competition. They've won it. They've been in finals. Racing, a chance for them to get their hands on some silverware, given how much, money they've laid out as well. So all these teams with huge motivation to lift this trophy, and therefore I think we're going to see some cracking games on the back of that. So we're going to talk about the semi-finals. We're going to start with the first semi-final. It's on Saturday, the 3rd of May, 2025, and it's a 3 o'clock kickoff. It is Edinburgh Rugby versus Bath Rugby. It's at the Hive Stadium. It's on Premier Sport, beIN Sport, Super Sport, and Flow Rugby. So with all of the games this weekend, lots of places for you to catch it. And if you don't have any of those, you can get something like Now TV, and it should have access to, certainly Premier Sport is on there. And that's a good way to watch, some of the games as well. So let's talk about how these teams actually got to this position. So starting with the home team of the semi-final, Edinburgh. So pool stages in this competition start off not great. They lose away to Gloucester 15 points to 10. Then a resounding win at home 52 points to 12 against Bayonne. They backed it up by going away to Van and winning 29-25. Then they finish off their pool stages with a decent win against Black Lion 36 points to 15. Then not done with Lyon. They play the Lions then, the South African Lions, that is, in the round of 16. They beat them 24 points to 12. And in more South African competition for them in the quarterfinals as well. They beat the Bulls 34 points to 28. Bulls, Edinburgh got a flying start in that one. Bulls came back and made it a bit shaky for them towards the end there as well. But fantastic performance for Edinburgh to get through there. Then Bath, how did they get here? So they actually dropped down from the Champions Cup. So in the pool stages, start off with a loss, 20 points to 24 at home against La Rochelle. Then they go away to Benetton, much changed side, and they got beaten for it as well. Benetton beaten 22 points to 21. Then their only win in the Champions Cup this year, home to Clermont, 40 points to 21. Then they go away to Leinster and they lose 47 points to 21. Competitive in the first half, but blown away then in the second half. Into the knockout stages then, they go away to Po and they win 48 points to 24. Brilliant, because in this competition, very tough place to go. It's a team who have a lot of experience in this competition and are generally, a tough nut to crack. It takes a decent side to knock them out of the competition, and Bath certainly are that. Then they go against Gloucester, who had fantastic performances in this competition, but no match for Bath. Bath wins 61 points to 26, resounding victory from them. Great display of attacking rugby as well from them. So, looking at positions of these teams, Bath still top of the Premiership. Edinburgh, actually the only team in European competition, in European semi-finals, that since the quarterfinals have dropped down in their league. So I think Edinburgh were like 7th or 8th, I think 7th in the URC at the time of their quarterfinals. They're now 10th in the URC. So the only team to actually drop, as I said, down their league. So not good omen for them. A draw away to Zebre coming into this, and only a last minute converted try got them that draw as well. So they could have been coming back into this on the back of a defeat, but there's no doubt that Edinburgh absolutely have to step their game up against this Bath team. The Bath, full of quality. They're mainly built around their attack, but you look at Edinburgh, and Edinburgh's defence isn't generally not up to much. They're the kind of side that they'll concede a lot of points and they'll try and score a lot of points themselves. And, they don't win games by defending better than the opposition. They try and win the games generally by trying to attack better than them. But when you have an attack as good as Bath, Edinburgh, their defence is gonna have to step up, I think, in this semi-final. And looking at it, you would say, again, Bath, top of the Premiership. Yes, they didn't deliver in the Champions Cup, but the last couple of games in this competition, they really have shown, that they're a team with serious designs on lifting this title and, potentially going for a double, as I said, with the Premiership as well. Edinburgh, I still don't know whether Edinburgh are the Scottish Connacht or the Irish Edinburgh, because the two teams are pretty much exactly the same, right? Full of talent, lots of potential there, but they're so up and down, and it's not just up and down game to game, which they are, but also up and down within games. And they're hugely frustrating teams, to watch and to cheer for. And I cheer for these teams a lot because, generally I cheer for Irish teams. I like the Scottish teams as well. I like Glasgow. I like Edinburgh. I like a lot of the South African teams too. And, in European competition, I'm going to be cheering the Welsh teams. I'm going to be cheering the Italian teams as well. So, in this one, I'm absolutely cheering Edinburgh in this, but I know it's going to be a frustrating experience, and the same experience with Connacht in the last round as well. And maybe something similar here with Edinburgh. But you look at it on paper and you think Bath are the favourites, Bath are going to win. And maybe that's how it's going to go. And you could very well be right. But for me, on this one with predictions, I'm going to go with my heart and I'm going to back Edinburgh for this. So, hopefully they can actually, produce a decent like an 80-minute performance and get themselves into a final. And even if they get to the final and they lose, it would still be a step forward for this group of players. I think they need something like that. We saw with Glasgow before they won the URC that they got to the final. Yeah, pretty sure they got to the final of this competition, right? And they didn't perform. But it was a catalyst for them to start improving, I think, and to get that mental edge in their game. So if Edinburgh could do something similar, because they have the potential to do it, it's just that they don't deliver on it. They deliver in patches, 10, 15 minutes playing well in the game and then stupid errors or, lack of concentration. And all the good work gets undone, and they do it game after game after game and half after half. And, they're up and down during games. And again, exactly like Connacht, but hoping that they can pull it off. Bath, far more consistent in terms of the performance and just that ability as well to, they never feel like they're out of a game. Especially, I think, at this level in this competition, they won't worry if Edinburgh get a quick start and get maybe a couple of tries or get 15, close to 20 points ahead or whatever, Bath will feel like that if they get a purple patch, they can eat up that lead very quickly. And that's what's going to make them, extra dangerous. And if Bath get a good start, then, it could be a case that they then keep Edinburgh kind of at arm's length where they're kind of swapping tries for the rest of the game. But Bath maybe have 7+ point lead for most of the game. But again, for me, I'm predicting an Edinburgh win. Probably going to be wrong about it, but I'm going to be cheering for them, so I may as well back them. Okay, on to your semi-final then. So it is on Sunday, 4th of May, 2025. It is a 12:30 kickoff. It's at the Mammoth Stadium de Girard, and it is Lyon Olympique Universitaire versus Racing 92. So Lyon versus Racing. And it's on France TV, beIN Sport, Premier Sport, Flow Rugby, and Super Sport. So I'm going to have to find out where I can actually watch that game. I do have Flow Rugby, so and Premier Sport. Well, I have Premier Sport through now, so one of those I think I'm going to be able to watch it on. It can be frustrating when there's massive quarterfinals and semi-finals, and they can't find them on channels that show a lot of rugby. It's like, oh, they're not from England or Ireland or wherever, so we're not going to show that game. So hopefully, I should be able to find it on one of those, and you too as well if you're interested in watching it. But yeah, this is a really big game for both of these teams because their only realistic chance to lift the trophy this year. Neither of them domestically, 8th for Lyon in the top 14 and 10th for Racing in the same competition. So neither of them, going to be winning the top 14 this year. So this is a chance for silverware. Lyon, again, recently they've been past winners of this competition as well. And Racing, with the massive spend that they have, they'd love to get a trophy out of it. But let's talk about how these teams got here. So Lyon, they started in this competition in the pool stages. They hang on, I've got one of the games is missing. Hang on, let me pull it up here. I'll just pull it up on the site. Where are we here? Is that it there? Yeah. No, we got that one already. Oh, that's it there. Okay, yeah. So, Lyon in the pool stages. So they started off with a home win against Cardiff, 37 points to 26. Then they go away to Zebre. They win 21 points to 19. Then a bit of a chastening experience for them over in the Dexcom against Connacht, 52 points to 24 loss. But then they bounced back with a 68 points to 21 against the Toyota Cheetahs, the invitational team from South Africa. Into knockout stages then, another South African opposition, but certainly, higher quality. Defending champions, Hollywood Bet Sharks, didn't send their best team, honestly, but still, Lyon did for them anyway. 34 points to 21. Then, in the quarterfinals, they go away to Ospreys and they pull off a decent win, 20 points to 18. Ospreys, for me, blew a chance to be in a European semi-final with that performance. And, Lyon, again, past masters in this competition, were able to produce and get to this semi-final. So decent run for them to get here. Then on to Racing. So Racing started in the Champions Cup and dropped down. So started off their pool really well, actually. Repeat of last year's fixture against Harlequins, but this time, they lost narrowly to Harlequins in the pool stages last year, but they beat them 23 points to 12. And you're thinking, oh, maybe they're actually going to be a serious contender this year. Then they go away to Sale to get beaten comfortably 29 points to 7. Then home to, they went to Glasgow then, or home to Glasgow, they lose 29 points to 19. And then finally then against the Stormers, a 31 points to 21 win. That was a home, Glasgow was away. So you know, 2 wins in the Champions Cup pool stages, and actually the only team that dropped down to this competition from the Champions Cup that had 2 wins. And I think the only team as well that had 2 wins that didn't qualify for the round of 16 there. So, you know, if they had been in another pool, maybe they would have at least progressed in the Champions Cup. I don't think we'd be talking about them as semi-finalists, honestly. So may have been done a favour by dropping down to this competition. Then in their round of 16, they go away to Perpignan. They win 24 points, 18 there. You know, really good performance. And then in their quarterfinal, even better performance, they go away to Connacht. They win 43 points to 40, despite playing almost the entire game with 14 men, because they got an early red card in that one. But, you know, Connacht, again, talked about them, you know, you know, in terms of Bath being, Edinburgh being very similar to Edinburgh, that, you know, Connacht, they just could not figure out how to play against 14 players, but Racing were absolutely immense, you know, and Owen Farrell coming off the bench as well, you know, to give them a G up there too, and, you know, brilliant from them in terms of just being like textbook how to play with 14 against 15 for them, you know, and the last 4 minutes or so as well, they were actually playing, you know, 13 because Farrell got a yellow card as well, you know. But from the time that, like, it was 12 minutes, right, that Naituvi got that red card. From that time, like, Connacht had a brilliant start, and then from the red card on, Racing were the better team. They were just absolutely brilliant and deserved winners. You know, Connacht had chances towards the end to potentially win the game themselves, but it would have honestly been, even though I was cheering for Connacht, would have been a travesty if they gotten through instead of Racing, because Racing were so good with 14 men. And now, you know, if they're going to win this competition, they're going to do it the hard way, right? Because they're going away to Perpignan and won. They're going away to Connacht and won. Now they're going away to Lyon. And, you know, if they win that, then they're in a final, and then all bets are off. So this one here, you know, certainly I think more difficult to pick than the other semi-final. Again, the other semi-final, if you were betting, you'd bet on Bath, right? I picked Edinburgh, but you'd bet on Bath. But in terms of this one, I think it's a little closer between the teams, especially given that Lyon, you know, a couple of things in Lyon's favour: home advantage, and also their experience in this particular competition as well. You know, they've been to these semi-finals previously and they've won. And, you know, Racing, it'd be great to actually see them getting some reward for, you know, all the talent that they have. But I'm going to pick Lyon to get through to the final in this one. So my predictions for the semi-finals are Edinburgh and Lyon. So that's basically the final that I'm predicting. So watch it be Bath versus Racing 92 instead. But that's the end of this one. There is a preview of the Champions Cup as well. Should be up on the channel already, so you can go check that out. I will be doing reviews of each of the games as well over the weekend, so look out for those. And then we'll have a wrap up probably on Monday to cover, you know, what's gone on over the weekend as well. And, you know, whoever gets into the final, I'm going to be covering that as well, and looking forward to it too. So enjoy your rugby this weekend, whoever you support, whether you're a neutral or you've got a vested interest. Hopefully it is an enjoyable weekend for you rugby wise, because there's nothing worse than, you know, your team losing and then, you know, having that feeling of not wanting to hear the word rugby. But you know, if that happens to me in Leinster, I'm just going to suck it up and I'm going to enjoy the other games, because there are fantastic games this weekend, and there are 2 fantastic games in this one. But let me know what you think down in the comments.